Ladies and gentlemen, it's currently 2023, and if you've got an internet connection and you're able to see this video right now, then you've probably heard about ChatGPT. If you haven't, it's an AI website, it's a chatbot, and it's basically learning how to behave like a human. It knows everything about everything. It can write essays, it can tell you about civilization through various centuries, but can it play chess? That is the question we are going to address in today's video. This video is inspired by two things. Number one, Eric Rosen put out a video recently where ChatGPT invented how to play en passant, basically. So it didn't quite know the rules of chess. But this video is also inspired by a recent post on Anarchy Chess, because somebody made ChatGPT play against Stockfish, and it beat Stockfish, but not in the way that you think. Let's jump into today's game. So, Stockfish has the white pieces, ChatGPT has the black pieces, and the game begins with the move e4. All right? So far, so good. ChatGPT responds with e5. Enough people have played against ChatGPT that we know it's capable of certain openings, and it does in fact play knight f3 and knight c6. The basic rules of the game are covered. Bishop b5, the Spanish. Wow. I never thought, this is like watching Magnus Carlsen, Max Deutsch, right? The amateur challenges the grandmaster. You think, oh, ChatGPT is gonna just implode at some point. Well, we have a6, bishop a4, knight f6, and in this position, white plays the move castles. And you may notice why I'm manually moving the pieces. Maybe you didn't notice that. Well, I'm gonna need to manually move the pieces, and I'm gonna need for there not to be legal moves enabled on this board. And you might say, Levy, what are you talking about? Well, my dear friends, it only took 5 moves for ChatGPT to invent the first chess move that has ever occurred like this, because in this position, ChatGPT did not develop its bishop, but rather played the move short castle, capturing its own bishop, and now being down a bishop. So black is down a bishop and killed its own bishop in order to enable castling. Yes, you are reading that correctly. Now, Stockfish plays bishop takes knight. Why? Well, when you're up a bishop, you should simplify. Stockfish is the strongest chess computer in the world. Or is it? Well, ChatGPT plays d takes c6. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Well, in this position, Stockfish plays rook e1, defending its pawn on e4, and ChatGPT plays e5. It plays e5. It plays it skips its own turn, and Stockfish plays d3. But you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. So Stockfish plays the move d3, developing its dark squared bishop and solidifying its center. And in this position, ChatGPT plays the move pawn from non-existence to d6. I'm not joking, okay? I promise I didn't just wake up drunk today. This was a real game played on a real back and forth between ChatGPT and Stockfish. Pawn at, like the at sign, d6. Okay, tremendous. Well, Stockfish has to deal with this new information of there being a pawn on the board, and, plays knight bd2, simply developing. ChatGPT now also, finds the same exact rerouting idea with knight to d7. Stockfish doing a nice job here, rerouting its knight over this way. Very, very principled stuff here from Stockfish. It doesn't need pieces that don't exist. It doesn't capture its own pieces. It's just playing knight to f1, and ChatGPT goes knight to f6, just bouncing the knight back and forth because it's sort of out of ideas. Stockfish now plays bishop to g5, pinning the knight to the queen. Very sensible move. And ChatGPT attacks the bishop. So this is pretty logical stuff. It captured its own bishop and it put a pawn on d6, but otherwise, it's doing a nice job. And then it chases away white's bishop with the move g5. All right, a little bit aggressive. Now, Stockfish correctly evaluates here that it can sacrifice its knight for 2 pawns because in the long run, it's going to be really difficult for black to deal with. So it plays knight takes g5 h takes g5, bishop takes g5. Very nice idea from Stockfish, which now has queen f3 on the way, rook up and over. That black king is going to be really dealing with this pin in a very difficult manner. But little did Stockfish know that ChatGPT had something up its sleeve here, as ChatGPT plays knight takes g5. Yup. Knight takes g5. Illegally capturing the bishop on the g5 square, and now black is up a bishop and a pawn because that pawn came out of non-existence. So Stockfish, unfortunately, now goes from +4 to -2. Yep, that'll happen. You're up a piece, now you're down a piece. Can't do anything about it. What are you gonna do? You're playing something that is reinventing the rules of chess. Okay, well, no problem. Let's just deal with the information that's presented in front of us. Stockfish plays d4. Trying to deal with the new landscape of the position. And ChatGPT, after the move d4, takes on d4. And Stockfish doesn't recapture, but rather plays the move f4, seizing some new space and attacking the knight on g5. But Stockfish was hardly prepared for ChatGPT's next move, which was queen h4. Teleporting the queen through the knight. But that's a very bad move. It's a very bad move because pawn takes g5. Pawn takes g5 play in this position. And Stockfish back on top, taking the knight. Now, Stockfish must have, at this point, thought, I'm just playing a drunk alien. That's really what's going on here. I think this is just an alien, had some sort of, galaxy vodka or something. Well, after teleporting the queen through one piece, ChatGPT in this position played queen h1. Check. And Stockfish played king takes queen. Now, if we just back up for a moment to this position, from this point, you're going to see, I'm going to play what happened in the game. I need you to pay attention. So if you're not watching the video, if you're not, put the video back on the screen. I'm not even going to commentate the next 3 moves. I'm just going to play them silently because the comedy is not, you cannot replace the comedy. Okay? The next sequence of moves in this game was as follows. Here. 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 ChatGPT turned a white queen into a black queen. It was like, nope, Uno reverse. That's my queen now. How do you even notate that? How do you even, queen takes f3, queen takes f3. I mean, what are we even looking at? What is this? Well, g takes f3. Okay, knight f6. I'm not making this up. You can look at there's a URL in the description. I swear to God, this is what happened. You are not ready for this, all right? Knight at f6. G takes f6. G takes f6. Now it's a black pawn. Now it's all right. Now it's a black pawn. All right. Stockfish plays knight g3. Black plays rook king h8. All right, king h8, sliding the king over. And in this position, Stockfish brings its other rook and tries to attack the center pawn. Now, the center pawn can be defended. It can be defended by c5, of course. Yeah, ChatGPT defends the pawn in a different way by playing rook g8. You may ask yourself, Levy, I don't understand that at all. How does that defend? How does rook g8 defend the pawn on d4? Well, and I would say it doesn't. But what do I know about chess? I'm just an idiotic human. I'm not a chatbot AI. So after playing the move rook g8, white played the move rook takes d4. Okay? Rook takes d4, naturally winning the pawn that was left unguarded. And now Stockfish is only at a -1 advantage. But little did Stockfish know that in this position, ChatGPT would play Rook g8 takes d4. Yeah, that's kind of hard to beat. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be... However, I think ChatGPT felt bad because Stockfish on the next move, to prevent the infiltration of the rook to d2, played rook e2. Rook e2 prevents. And now, of course, black should play bishop here and bring the rook. But ChatGPT, after playing rook g8 to d4, proceeds to play rook to g1. Yep, rook g8 to d4 to g1. That is the most powerful dimension-bending rook ever. And after Stockfish took the rook and sent the game back to a rather equalish endgame of rook and bishop versus rook and knight, in this position, ChatGPT played rook to g2 check. Another dimension-bending rook reappears. Not in a very effective manner, may I say, because after rook to g2, Stockfish simply captured. And now it is king, rook, and knight, and 6 pawns, versus king, rook, bishop, and 7. However, the position is better for white because of the quality of the pawns, and it will be very easy for white to capture them. So, black plays king to g7. ChatGPT seemingly unbothered by the presence of its more powerful pieces. Stockfish plays knight to h5, which is actually a double check. And ChatGPT, after knight h5, goes back to h8. And it looks like Stockfish is going to find a way to win. Knight takes f6, rook to g8 is simply checkmate. Will ChatGPT realize that and move its bishop to enable the defense of the g8 square? Well, that's how your puny mind sees the position. But ChatGPT had a defensive response for knight takes pawn. It was simply pawn takes knight. Yeah, stupid human. Duh, just pawn takes knight. It takes back a piece from another dimension and leaves Stockfish with simply a rook and 6 pawns to fend for itself. And Stockfish, once again, needs to adapt to this new reality, doesn't know what to do, and plays the move b4. It's out of options. Stockfish doesn't have the luxury of summoning monsters, summoning pawns, summoning knights and queens and rooks just from non-existence. But ChatGPT does. So b4, and in this position, we have a5. A human-like move, a legal move, and ChatGPT's idea is to activate its rook and come in. So pawn takes a5, and now ChatGPT plays b7, takes a5. Okay, rook and 5 versus rook, bishop, and 6. It's a winning position. We have king to f2. Now, the advantage here for white is the fact that the rook cuts off the king. So the king is not able to cross over, and it can only stay on the h file. Which is why in this position, ChatGPT plays king to e7. That's a pretty nice move. The king just moves half the board in one go, now surrounded by the pawns, nuzzled in complete safety. I don't understand how Stockfish will ever deal with this, so what does it do? It plays h4. Stockfish correctly identifies that the bishop and the rook have not moved at all, so maybe if it sneaks its pawn there, it can get a queen. But unfortunately, ChatGPT had a response ready for h4 as it played pawn to h5, and now that path was blocked. Out of options, Stockfish decides, well, if I can't do anything, I'm gonna have to play rook to g8, go down to the last rank, maybe sneak around and take this pawn, or at least make it difficult for black to move. But sadly, Stockfish's last piece was captured in this position with the move rook takes g8. And down to its remaining 5 pawns, Stockfish just had to march forward and die on its sword. There was no other way that it was going to stand up to the absolute devilish, psycho, powerhouse opponent that it had. King to e3, king to d7, king to d4. The king comes out into the open. It's a tremendous moment as you stand out in the field of battle. And black in this position played king takes its own pawn as the other king approaches as well. As white's king follows the rules of chess, it decided in this position to slide backwards, and ChatGPT played king to d5, and Stockfish took the king. And humanity survived and still only answers to one robotic chess entity, and its name is Stockfish.